Long time ago, in Alagbede village, the village chief known as Baale had a beautiful wife called Morolake. The couples were so in love with each other and they lived in harmony. The villagers admired their marriage and saw them as good role models in the village. However, years passed, but the Baale had no children. Morolake became a sad woman and she could no longer be the happy and jovial Baale wife that the villagers had known. Every night, she will cry to sleep and pray bitterly to Olodumare to give her her own children. Her husband, the Baale, was also not happy with their childlessness, but this didn't change the love he had for his wife. The couples consulted different medicine men and herbalists in their village and the neighboring villages to find a cure to their childlessness, but all their efforts yielded no positive results. On a hot afternoon, Morolake went to the river to have a bath. She was accompanied by her maid servants. As Morolake entered the river, her maid servants formed a semicircle to prevent other villagers from seeing her. Few minutes into her bathing, some village women came to the river to fetch water, but were stopped by the maid servants. Immediately Morolake saw what was going on. She quickly came out of the river and dressed up so that the other women can fetch their water on time. The women thanked her and showered her with praises for being a good woman and a kind leader. As Morolake turned to leave with her maid servants, she heard the women whispering amongst themselves, her Baale wife is so beautiful and humble, but Olodumare did not give her a child of her own. Such a pity. Immediately Morolake heard these words, she stopped suddenly and a tear rolled down her cheek. But she braced herself together and continued walking. Morolake got home that evening and locked herself up in her room. She refused to eat or speak to anyone for 3 days. The Baale grew very worried because his wife refused to speak to him also. On the evening of the 4th day, Alagbede, who is Morolake's favorite maidservant, came back to the house after spending 1 week with her family in the neighboring village. Upon her arrival, the Baale sent for her and begged her to help him talk to Morolake and bring her out of her room. Alagbede agreed because she knows that Morolake will grant her audience. That same night, Alagbede made Morolake's favorite dish and made her way to her hut. Alagbede knocked on Morolake's door and pleaded for her mistress to let her in. After 30 minutes of relentless knocking, Morolake opened the door for her. Alagbede felt pity for Morolake immediately she set her eyes on her. Morolake's eyes were swollen from crying. Her lips were cracked. She has grown very lean and she could easily be blown away by a little breeze. Alagbede sat Morolake on her bed and fed her. She tried so hard not to cry as she looked at her mistress. After Morolake finished her meal, Alagbede started talking. Iyawa, I know a very powerful herbalist who lives in a village 7 villages away. I know he can find a solution to your problem. Morolake was reluctant at first, considering how many herbalists she has visited, but she agreed to follow her to the herbalist. The next day, the two women set out to the village in search of the herbalist. They traveled for 3 days before they got there. As soon as they approached the herbalist's hut, they heard a loud voice saying, "Stop there! Women are not allowed on the sacred ground." An old man came out from nowhere. His eyes were bulging. His teeth were so large that his lips couldn't cover them anymore. The women were frightened at his sight, but he smiled at them and beckoned them to follow him to another hut. He consulted the oracle and instructed Morolake to carry out some sacrifices and assured her that she will conceive. Morolake had a strong conviction when she left the herbalist's abode. She believed that she has found solution to her childlessness. On her way home, she bought a lot of wrappers and beads to give to all her maid servants if Olodumare should answer her prayer and give her a child. The following month, Morolake took in, and 9 months later, she gave birth to a bouncing baby boy. The whole village rejoiced greatly at this news. The Baale was the happiest man in the village. He killed 50 goats for his son's naming ceremony, and his servants cooked and fed the whole village for a whole month for the celebration. The boy was named Adewale. A month after Adewale's birth, strange things started happening in the village. Some women had gone to the river early in the morning to fetch water when they noticed a strange object on the water. As they moved closer to take a look at the strange thing, it turned out to be Shade, the daughter of the palm wine tapper. They screamed and ran as fast as their legs could carry them. The news circulated the whole village, but no one knew the cause of her death. As her body had no marks of torture or stabs, she was buried quietly as they assumed she drowned in the river, and everyone moved on with their lives. 2 months later, there was a loud cry in Arowo Shafe's compound. His only daughter was found dead in her room in the early hours of the morning. It was said that she answered a call from her sleep, "Oh," and gave up the ghost. Arowo Shafe was so bereaved because he loved his daughter so much since the death of her mother. Not long after the death of Arowo Shafe's daughter, 2 maid servants in the Baale house died by hanging themselves. The whole village became unsettled. Things were getting out of hand and they do not seem ordinary anymore. The Baale became so bothered and sent for the village chief priest. The chief priest arrived at the Baale's house and consulted the oracle. The oracle says that there is a strange god in the land and he is causing the death of these innocent virgins. He will not stop because the blood of the virgins is the only thing keeping him alive. To get rid of this strange god, 7 virgins must each carry a sacrifice to the evil forest before the next full moon, or else the strange god will become stronger and feed on any kind of human, be it male or female. The whole village prepared for this sacrifice, and 7 brave virgins offered to carry the sacrifice. The whole village wept as these virgins carried their sacrifices out of the village, because everyone knows that No one has ever entered the evil forest and come out alive. Peace was restored in the village after the 7 virgins' sacrifice. Years later, the Baale died due to an illness, and Adewale, his son, was to become the next Baale. However, he needs to get a bride before he can be made Baale. His mother Morolake searched round the whole village and found her son the most beautiful maiden, Adoni. Adoni and her parents were very happy when Morolake asked for her hand in marriage. Immediately, the whole village started a big preparation towards Adewale and Adoni's marriage. However, a day to the beautiful celebration, a sad news broke round the village that Adoni had slumped and died. Thank you for listening to the story. If you want more stories from African Stories Hub, kindly like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.